This is Dave McCain with the Right Tree Genealogy, doing another video on FTDNA. It's been a while. All of us have things that go on in life, and in my case, it included the loss of a family member. So hopefully we can get back into videos. Let's cover a topic that just came up for me. It is a tester that filled in a spot on a block, filled in with another person to make the block very solid in an area. What I want to cover is STRs, where a very unique ySTR is for our project, Lineage 1 part of my project, and what to do next. So this is in my Barton project and in an area related to me directly. We have a tester that just completed that has something unique in the entire area of this project. A person with an 1114 is very unique for us. I know a lot of other projects have 1114 in the DYS 385, but for us, this is the person that shows the 11. To date, we've seen other testers that have had this at the low level and find out that they don't match us. What this means is that you can't assume anything. The DYS 385 is considered a volatile area, although for us it's pretty solid. We have other locations as well. Well, what I want to get back into on this is this. When this tester tested, he also had a few other ySTRs, what I find important to my area of Lineage 1. So going back here, we have DYS 710. For my area, we see a 34, okay? And we generally also see, had to grab that again, so you have DYS 444. It is defining one part of the area as a 13. My area has a 12. So as I mentioned just a minute ago, you have the 12 and we also have the 34. So to clarify that, we have subgroups in Lineage 1 because we have found that a particular SNP, it's called L196, and I'll show it in a block tree here in a moment, that defines two different areas. We have a group of us that fall underneath FT31442 and another group that falls under A1708 R-A1708 group. It's split roughly 1200 AD per the estimates of Family Tree DNA at this point. But let me show you what I've gained with this tester. This person joined the project, talked to them in a little bit, and they went ahead and upgraded themselves to a big Y and split off. Now, I had looked at their Y111, and a couple of those ySTRs I pointed out a few minutes ago made me put them in my area, my portion of the Lineage 1, because the ySTRs match more closely with us. He still had that unique test location, but let me show you where he fell in the block tree. So unfortunately, when I brought up the block tree, average private variants have disappeared for now, but with that I can still cover what I want to cover. The new tester has added, along with another tester, have secured a location on the block tree. Now I'll go ahead and say this, that this group over here is me, my group, my personal family group. These are McCain's. Then this is the new tester along with another individual, and they do not have these SNPs. And then you have a 2-block SNP right here that is our Wetherington. In my branch of the tree, it is McCain's. Then we break into the next line up is Wetherington's or Worthington. They use the name Worthington now. Their name was Wetherington. And then it goes back to Barton. And it's Barton all the way up the tree, all the way to the one I'm going to point out here in a second, L196. Right here is this section here do not have the name Barton. Everybody up above this, and I'm going to go ahead and click this. Even though it's been a few seconds for you, it's been several minutes for me. I'm going to have to show you what I wanted to show you from two perspectives of two different testers, not the way I was going to go click upstream. There's apparently an issue today during recording with Family Tree DNA. So the next video screen you're going to see is from one tester and then from another tester. So as I was showing you earlier, this is the first individual. The tester in question was here on the block tree, and we said that we had the McCain's, we had the Wetheringtons here, and then Barton's the rest of the way up. and this L196 is the deriving SNP for the whole area. And here's the other tester in this section of the tree, and underneath of L196 and A1708 and then A1720. For this tester, I grabbed up one of the other admins. Going back to the primary person I was discussing, we now have a solid block out for this area of the tree. We still have a SNP here, okay, a SNP here, and 2 SNPs here that we can break out. Those are testers. Those are men somewhere in time that we can break it off with. What we do in our project is we take this, we analyze the data, and we try to find the next tester to upgrade. At times, as happened here, someone spontaneously comes in, matches, we put them where they belong in the tree. This helps us all. Whenever we have a new tester, we're able to look how the SNPs fall, how the ySTRs fall, and we'll better understand where in time these changes occurred. Right now in my project, as I said a few minutes ago, that we have around 1100 to 1200 AD is the beginning, that L196, and then it drops down all the way down to around 1600. So I'm going to go back to this image. So around somewhere in this area here, basically here, we're thinking this is roughly 1650 to 1700 time frame for these 3 SNPs when we broke off from the Barton line in my section. That's important to understand because and I'm going to show that here in a second. I'm going to go over to the time part of the tree and say how old do they say this SNP is. So let me show you that to show what I'm saying represents the latest data as of June 2025 of what the date of that SNP is. So I've gone into the Discover tool, and this represents the scientific detail. We'll go ahead and go to the haplo story. So this is the haplo story for this particular SNP, the FT27699, the new tester and the other individual. It says the predecessor SNP block really FT29222 was formed roughly 1650, and this one was formed roughly 1700. However, doing the scientific detail is what I normally click here. We use the mean here in our project, and I recommend other ones to use that just as a basis point. You know, it says it varies in this from 95% confidence level here, but we use that one in our block tree as we represent these dates. So they've updated it more recently. It says it's 1678 CE. I was saying a few minutes ago between 1650 and 1700. It now shows that it is right at 1678. Doesn't mean that's the exact date. Make sure you understand this. We can't say specific date yet. And when I say the term yet, we have to find testers that have paper trails and get those paper trails pulled together. And if we find an individual born in 1756, just making up a date, and that person is a Wetherington, born 1756, and we were able to trace all of our lines back to that point for this FT27699, and we're confident in that birth date, then we can put that date for our own testing representation, and in our project we say, hey, it actually formed around 1756 instead of 1678. But again, it's all relative at this point. They base it on the SNPs, the ySTRs, and data they have available on testers. So they create these means. We can all create our own, but I utilize what FTTNA puts together because they have all the data in hand for the represented SNPs. Well, I hope this video was informative for you, and if you like that, please consider subscribing right here or watching some of this other content. Let's continue learning together.